but make it do what it do. Let's get to it. This is Elder Black Light. This is your soul school connection. This is your zone of the gods. And we're going to make it do what it do. Uh, I just pop up. I don't have a certain time, a certain day to come on. It says I have 571 subscribers. And that means that all of them must hit that notification bell. But yet still, I only get 1 or 2 likes. I only get 14 views. You know, I don't never get the 571 subscribers. Now that's a puzzle to me why things are like that. But YouTube, I told you the other day that YouTube had me on a 90-day lockdown. I just came off of it. Yesterday, my screen froze. And I couldn't show you the way I wanted to show you about this electromagnetic flow or aura that we all have. So I don't know why that happened, but it happened. And the reason why they, put me on a 90-day lockdown is because they sent me a letter or a statement in my email saying that that was hate speech. And they're trying to lock you up if you disagree with, especially when you're talking about the ones that call themselves Semitic, the Jews. And when you tell the truth, they say you anti-Semitic. So they're supposed to scare somebody. Man, you ain't scaring nobody. I'm 77 years old, soon to be 78. I done made it through all types of stuff. I haven't been to the hospital or doctor's office since 81. Now, I don't take no medication. One of my videos, I spoke on this about I eat 1 time a day, how I fast every other day, and I seldom fast every 3 days. But I misspoke myself when I played the video back and heard what I was saying. It sounded very confusing. So I see I got somebody that's paying attention. but it don't never show it. And the comments, you know, they've been cutting comments off, you know, because they saying that, see, I don't have no monitors or nothing like that. I don't need all that. Man, that's wasting time. And I'm not going to stop saying what I'm saying because somebody call themselves throwing shade on me, or, you know, I'm not going to argue with them. I see brothers and sisters, I'm going to throw you out the room if you don't act right. Man, I ain't like that, man. I ain't got time to waste for that petty stuff, you know? Because you got to get the knowledge of yourself. Now, there could be some Caucasians watching, you know, other nationalities watching that, you know, don't agree. But if you don't agree, you just don't agree, you know? And if you don't like what I'm saying, just turn it off. Turn on somebody else, you know? A lot of people say, well, I want to get those people who don't agree with me, you know, because they like to argue. But I'm like what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad say, take it or leave it. You know, either get with it or leave it alone. You know, if it sounds reasonable to you what I'm saying, then, you know, there are those that subscribe. I got 571. I don't have too many. I'm going to tell you one reason why I think that I don't have many subscribers. It's because I'm not commercializing my videos or when I go live. I don't have a PayPal or whatever, and I don't want no advertising. You know, I want just straight truth, because truth is to be told and not sold. And when I say I got the kind of flavor of the Savior, I mean to back what I'm saying up. You know, I'm not the average advocator of Allah. You know, I'm in the nation of Islam. But now let me break that down for you about the nation of Islam. When the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that Islam is the nature of the black man, well, your nation is your seed. That's all it is to that. The nation is the man's seed. You know, whatever your color is. But now the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that there's only two nations. The black man and the white man. Now the black, brown, red, and yellow fall under the umbrella of the black man, even though y'all don't want to admit it. Some of y'all say, no, you don't call me black. You know, that's your prerogative. You know, I'm not going to argue with you on that. But it's my choice to call myself what I want to call myself. You know, if I don't want to be called an American or a citizen of America, Hey, you shouldn't get mad or offended. I'm a citizen of Allah. I don't want to be a citizen of a snake pit, of a swampland. You know, y'all like that kind of stuff. Y'all like to wallow in mud. I mean, you don't have. It's exciting to you. It's exciting to you to come near death. What you talking about now? I'm talking about those fentanyl people that take fentanyl. Ain't nobody twisting your arm, making you take that. Why do you take it if it can kill you? What about all them drug crackheads and cocaine people? Once you find out that it's not good for you, because a lot of people don't know. They see everybody else doing it, you know, and they say we gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Let me try it. Because I know when I was coming up in Detroit, and I didn't stop smoking until I was about 18 or something, 17. And anyway, uh only reason why I did it because I seen a dude smoking, one of my peers smoking, and he made the smoke come out his mouth and go up in his nose and blow it out again. I thought that was cool. So I said, let me try that. So I tried it, and I thought I was looking cool, you know. Now I didn't smoke but about I started smoking, but it wasn't every day. But my mother and father was smoking. They had nicotine fits. You know, they sent me to the store to get them some nicotine. And my mother grew up MGT, you know, because she was about, I say 16 when she got the Nation of Islam. I wasn't born yet. But she got out when I was at the age of 7. Now, I only smoked cigarettes for about maybe 4 or 5 years, because they started going up on the price of cigarettes. You could get a whole carton. Uh, what you paying for a pack of cigarettes now? Back in them days, you could get a whole carton. You know, but I stopped smoking that and started smoking weed. I was just smoking weed. I wasn't smoking nothing else. Then I found out that they was putting what they was putting in it, putting in the weed. And I flushed the whole. I don't know how much herb I had. I don't know. I had a lot. I forgot, but it was a lot. And I flushed it down the toilet. I could go cold turkey in a heartbeat of anything I tried, because I know it's a matter of mind over matter, you know. And a lot got to do with, they say, well, your body craved this. No, your mind craved it. You know, your mind is over matter, you know. And when you get hooked on something, it's not your body craving it, it's your mind craving it. So we had epidemics back in the 70s, and all kind of drugs, heroin, you know, crack, cocaine. Didn't nobody make me smoke, you know. I did it on my own. And when I found out, I started, you know, finding out that everything that the black man consumed had something in it, some kind of poison in it, even the drinking water. And so as a result of that, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that if you want to get rid of the poison out your body, fast, you know. And so he broke it down, and I said, that sounds logical. So you get all the impurities out faster because they spray your food with insect repellent. That's poison, you know. They put what they put in the fluoride or something in the water. That's poison, you know. There's nothing natural about anything no more. And they was putting some kind of chemical on the weed, on the anything you get, they putting something to kill you, either slowly or quickly. You know, you're gonna die. I mean, everybody say, well, we put here to die. You know, no. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad say, you kill yourself. You know, it's a fact that you can live as long as you want to. What kind of proof you got of that? Well, I really ain't got no proof, but I could go by what the Bible was saying. They said guys in the Old Testament was living 900. Abraham, how long did he live? You know, a bunch of cats was living long. And so why? Because they had more degrees of righteousness. Even the devil had more degrees of righteousness in him. I'm talking about the Caucasian than he do now. You know, well, let me put it like this. The science, and that's the name of this video, the science of Allah. The science of Allah, when you study the science or the creation, and Allah was saying be, and he saw that it was good, and all he had to do was say be, and it manifested itself. So now when you listen to some of these videos now about just picture what you want. If you want to be very successful, this is the kind of integrity that you must have. And you must be, it's all in the mind first, right? Now, how do you manifest what you want into reality? And it shows you the different steps you must take to make it, a reality. But it's not as instant, so we think that's when the Creator said be, and there it was. But it really don't tell you how long it took. When he said be, it don't say how long it took after he said be to manifest itself. It don't tell you that. It don't tell you how long Allah manifested his own self. But evidently, when you look around you, you see trees, you see all of this vast technology of Allah. So that's proof right there. You see what I'm saying? Proof it's here. The proof is in the pudding. So you don't never hear people talk about the white man, how he came about. I mean, seriously, talk about the white man when he came about. Now, when the white man tell you he came about, see, the reason why I'm talking about the white man, this is not hate that I'm saying. This is reasoning. The white man came about by the process of grafting. But the white man tell you he just came from a amoeba out the sea, out the water, developed arms and legs, and only reached the stage of a Neanderthal man, caveman, dwelling in caves. He don't mention nothing about the black man, Now this is his own saying how he came about. And all of a sudden he started inventing things. He didn't know language, so he invented language. He invented the wheel. He invented. Eventually, he got to the point where he invented the pyramids. He ain't never saying nothing about the black man though. So he thought to himself, well, let me use the Bible to see how the black man came about and how all people came about, all beings came about. So in that Bible, where did he get it from? Well, he said, well, Moses wrote the Old Testament. And so when it got down to Noah and the ark, he said the black man came about by being cursed. Now, that's not sounding logical. Now, he don't say nothing about the two genes the dominant genes and the recessive gene. He don't say nothing about that. Now, all these years, he just not finding out through Mendel, who was a scientist or something, that you got a dominant gene and recessive gene. I think Mendel was around in the 1800s, or, I'm just, guessing around there. But before that, he didn't have the Caucasian living in Europe, didn't have no knowledge of medicine. So he's saying that he invented medicine, he invented, but when you study the Bible, the only disease they talk about is leprosy. But now, how long was people on the planet before leprosy came about? And when God was creating the earth and everything, there's no mention of diseases. There was no need for medical doctors. Now, how long did it take before there was a need of medical doctors and medicine and all like that? When God was in the Garden of Eden, it wasn't no medicine, no need for medical doctors, because God said everything was good that he created. So it was all good. It wasn't no need for someone to repair nothing until Adam came about. And God was in the Garden of Eden showing Adam all around Eden. He said, I'm going to show you, let me show you Eden. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you full run of Eden, right? So I'm going to tell you what to do and what not to do. So now the white man say God is a spirit. But the Bible say he was talking and he was walking through the garden. And so he was walking along with Adam and Eve, telling them, don't eat of that tree. So Eve, she ate of the tree. All we know, this is a metaphor, because the real science is too complicated for your minds to comprehend. Because you don't even know what kind of powers you got in you right now. You don't know nothing about righteousness is a power. You don't know nothing about justice is a power. You don't know nothing. You don't call them power. Morality is a power. You don't call that a power. But anyway, that's what that tree was about. The fruit was morality and righteousness, and following the commands of the dictator God. Either you follow his demands or you be destroyed. And you mostly destroy yourself because you're rebelling against your creator, the one who created you. That's like biting the hand that feeds you, you know. So Eve, she broke the commandment first, then gave the fruit to Adam. He was weak to his woman. So he put this woman before his creator, before his father. You know, try to blame it on her. It's Eve's fault. No, didn't nobody twist your arm and make you eat on that fruit, man. You twist your own, you did it yourself. You twist your own arm. So you can't blame it on her. And so you ate the fruit, and then you know you done wrong. So you start hiding from, as we used to say in the hood, your ass was out. So you hiding from God because you know God could look, and he already know what you did. You in Eden, man. And so God was checking on you, called out to you. Now, if he was a spirit, he wouldn't have no vocal cords, you know. And so he could tell by the way you was acting, or he already knew, but yeah, you know, you disobeyed my orders, man. So he told him, he said, look here, I'm kicking y'all out of Eden. I'm kicking the serpent who persuaded Eve out, put a curse on him, curse on her. I'm kicking you out, put a curse on you. You know, so now he got kicked out of Eden. Another word for Eden is heaven. Another word for heaven is paradise. Another word for paradise is divine order. Divine order. Not chaos. So divine order became a crime because what they call criminals are those that are outlaws. They don't obey the laws of nature, which is Allah or God, and they become criminals. So they form organized crime. So that means they're against divine law. And that's like being against God. Now, all this time, all this happening, you thinking that the black man was the one that was against when Noah, in those days of Noah with the flood, you thinking that the black man was cursed because he was against God. That's what all y'all think. Like I say, that's a metaphor, you know, to trick you. And so, but it don't really say that in the Bible, you know, but that's what he taught you that the Bible said. But by us not understanding English, or understanding words, because we were kept from learning, reading, writing for 400 years. So we went on what he said. You know, he made us preachers. So we went on what he said. Now, a lot of people, oh man, I can't stand that dude. That, you know, they say they can't stand me. They don't like the way I present things. You know, I don't know if they said it or not because I can't see nothing. But and in the chat room, I can't see the chat. They shut down my chat on the screen, you know, a long time ago. And see, I don't have a money app, you know, so I don't have no motivation to trick you, you know, into I don't want your money, you know. My goal ain't to get rich and famous off of YouTube. My goal is to save you from the war of Armageddon. That's my goal, which we in now. Now, a lot of you don't believe it. But every time you turn on your news, you hear about, you know, they fighting over here, they fighting over there. Kenya, you know, people fighting over in Kenya. Hades, parts in South America, fighting everywhere, man. Fighting here in USA. Guys killing up, going where it be people shopping at a shopping center, shooting up people, police killing black men like it's going out of style, you know. Morality is out the window now. They got the two presidents on trial, you know, and they running for president. Biden, him and his son, you know, they just got through convicting his son, and they got his Biden under investigation. And then you got Trump. He used to hang with Bill Gates and what's that guy name that hung himself in the prison? You know, that was trafficking, had sex trafficking. I can't recall his name right now. But anyway, you got all these corrupt leaders. So I asked this sister one time, I say, who you gonna vote for? She say, I ain't voting for Trump because he evil. I said, Biden evil too. When you study the history of Biden he ain't down with black people. She said, well, I'm voting for the lesser two evils. I say, how you gonna vote for the lesser two evils? Ain't no such thing. You know, when you're evil, you're evil. Even if you were 1 degree more evil than the next evil, you're still evil, you know. And then they say, well, Biden was shipping arms over to Israel. But he said he ain't gonna ship no more arms to him. So he's saying that because his advisors told him, man, tell the people you ain't gonna ship no more arms over to Israel. And Israel playing like they mad at Trump, because he ain't shipping no more arms. They ain't mad at him, man. It's all a game. It's all a game to him. And so y'all can't see through it. Because they made our people so deaf, dumb, and blind that they got the mind they ain't even got the mind of a fifth grader. Their mind is slow to develop. Now, it ain't their fault because they making sure that they keeping you vibrating at a lesser degree that you're supposed to be vibrating at by using TV and radio and music. You see, like when they had the war between the East Coast and West Coast in the rap game, and they didn't have it wasn't even about the rap game. I mean, it was an R&B. So people's getting killed. Sam Cooke, Jackie Wilson, Curtis. It was a guy up here named Al Perkins, who I'm familiar with, because I was in the music into that game. And Al Perkins was found dead with a bullet in the head because he went against the gangsters. The mafia. They made Barry Gordy get up out of town. Why you think brothers be selling out? BET. Because they give them an offer they can't refuse. Either you gonna sell out to me and live, or die. Barry Gordy he would have the whole if Barry Gordy didn't sell out to the gangsters, he would have the whole music game sold up. All he had to do was get with the Muslims. But wait, no, let me back that up. They sold out, I'm talking about Wallace, and they all went along with Wharf D, Wallace, or whatever. They sold out because they didn't want to get with Master Farad and Elijah. You see? I heard a brother say, look, the COINTEL program, they kill people, and man, they don't talk, don't tell, because they'll shut you down. Don't tell the truth. They call what I'm saying a conspiracy theory. Why they call it a conspiracy theory? Because they think that I don't have no proof. Let me tell y'all, man. When you research, you will always find proof. When you research the history. Let me show you something. I don't know if you can see this. These are headlines. They don't talk about this that much. They don't talk about under the executive order of the president on or before May the 1st, 1933, all gold coins and bullion and gold certificates now owned by them through the Federal Reserve branch or agency or any member bank of the Federal Reserve system. And if you get caught with gold in your crib, that's a criminal penalty for a violation of executive order, $10,000 fine, or 10 years imprisonment, or both. Executive order. So I'm gonna tell y'all, y'all gotta quit the foolishness, man. Because the East Coast and West Coast war and the war between different gangs orchestrated. They could come into your neighborhood and use your own people. Remember that picture, Belly, DMX, and Nas? And an agent came up to DMX and told him they want him to kill the minister. Either you do it or die, right? And they say, if you do it, we'll lighten your sentence up. And so DMX told him he would do it. So he said, you must join the organization. This is what the agent told him. He said, you must join the organization and work your way up through the ranks and get close next to the minister. And then when you get the opportunity, knock him off. Either you're going to do that. And they gave him a time limit to do it. Anyway, he couldn't do it. And the minister said, man, I know they sent you after me. And so they knock a few people off, but they couldn't knock off the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. They couldn't put him in jail. They tried all types of stuff, but his integrity and his moral character, this is what we're going to be talking about today. This is the science of Allah. He placed in us morality and integrity through his breath, through the air, And this is what we was talking about yesterday. And I'm going to show you. But let me qualify this right here. The word magnetism. It's going to take probably maybe a couple more videos for you to understand about why you are the God, black man and black woman. You are the original Asiatic black man of the planet Earth. So I'm going to use them saying it themselves. When I say them, I'm talking about the Caucasoid. He going to say it himself and tell the truth on himself. But he acting like he discovered it. And the reason why I went through that whole thing about he never tells you why or when was he before the black man. He don't tell you why you are black. He don't tell you if he was after the black man. Because he don't talk about that dominant gene and the recessive gene. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the one that came out before anybody, quantum physics, talking about the atom in the air, the atom that was manifested, the being, what was in that atom, how long it took for him to manifest the being, the God, the Allah, which is you, all people of melanin, So we're gonna get into this dude here, P. Hall. I hope they don't freeze my screen again. You know. But if they freeze my screen, just stay listening. You know, just keep listening.
We have a very interesting subject this morning because it deals with one of the most curious and neglected areas of human research, and that is the magnetic fields, not only of man, but of the universe and of the smallest atom. Studying magnetism as it comes into the human body, we've discovered that each human body is surrounded by an etheric or energy field. This energy field is sometimes referred to as an aura, but it is not the true aura that we think of in metaphysics. This magnetic field is an area of energy. This area of energy forms an egg-like atmospheric sheath around the physical body, usually extending 3 to 5 feet from it in each direction. This energy field is the basis of virtue, because this energy field depends for its reality, its serviceability, and its protecting power to move emotion, thought, and the attitudes of the person around which this magnetic field is gathered. In other words, the individual, if they are normal, if mentally, emotionally, and physically, they're keeping the rules, this magnetic field forms a tremendous protection. It is normal, it is healthy, it is constantly able to handle infections and all kinds of difficulties. It will help to heal wounds, it will help to recover the use of functions and organs, and if we are deprived of some part of the body, it will try to compensate for it. As long as the individual takes proper care of his magnetic field, it will serve it. Now, this is a phase of morality that is generally overlooked. It is assumed that these magnetic fields are something you don't pay much attention to. They're there, maybe they'll help a little. But the truth of the matter is that practically the whole survival of the individual depends upon maintaining the integrity of this flow of energy into the magnetic field. This energy comes from the sun. It enters the individual through the crown of the head. It disseminates through the entire body, and it's excreted back again through the lower centers of the body and is recleansed by the solar energy. This is a kind of a little private tank or capsule of life that we are all carrying about with us all the time. Now, the problem of morality in this is very definite. The moment we break rules, we damage that magnetic flow. We have got to keep the laws of nature, and these in turn are the laws of God, or the magnetic field fails. It can fail because of physical intemperances, which reduce its integrity and reduce its power. It can be wasted in riotous living, which is such a common cause these days. It can be variously destroyed by moods, by attitudes, by ideas, by complexes. It can be destroyed or damaged by alcohol, drugs, narcotics, all kinds of things. But if this field is damaged, it immediately reacts into health. It damages the individual's vitality. It makes him more easily subject to contagions and infections, and it definitely shortens the life expectancy. Now, if this is so, why do we want to consider it as a moral factor? In other words, what is morality? It is obedience with the evident will of deity as manifested in creation. Virtue lies in whatever builds up the magnetic fields. Vice is that which tears them down. Therefore, if we are good, it's not because the book says we should be. It's not because it was thundered by the laws on Sinai. It is because we keep the rules of the integration of the human structure. That we use the magnetic fields correctly and protect our health and our happiness and our well-being in that way. Now we think of the magnetic field as surrounding the entire structure of the body, as Kilmer showed. This, however, is only a phase of it. Each part of the body has a magnetic field. It is in the tiniest atoms. There is no such a thing as a dead particle in the universe. Therefore, we are confronted with the natural problem of realizing that virtue is to keep the law of the energy field. The energy field is what establishes right and wrong. The energy field tells us that to lose our disposition and temperament is wrong. To use various negative, destructive attitude is wrong. To compromise the principles of right living is wrong. To think badly, to feel unpleasantly, to be engaged in any action or concept which is contrary to the common good damages the magnetic field and therefore is wrong. Selfishness injures that field. Every vice we know, the breaking of any of the 10 commandments and a number of other rules result in damage to that field, because the final code itself is based upon the life principle in each part of the human constitution. So we have each little cell has its own moral responsibilities. The stomach has its own magnetic field. The stomach is not simply an organ. It is an organism. It is a living thing within the human body. The same is true of the heart, the brain, all the organs, the intestine, all the motor system, the nervous system, the endocrine system. These are all entities. They are entities of magnetic unities. They are part of living organisms which are cooperating together for the common good. To abuse one is to damage all. To neglect one is to neglect all. Each of these organs has its own field in the body, and all these fields together constitute the grand magnetic field that surrounds the complete person. It is always present. There is a magnetic core on each kingdom. All integrities in all fields are compatible. All lack of integrities, all departures from integrity in any or all fields are in conflict constantly. The only way the individual can escape conflict is by never abusing the energy factors of his own life. He must never abuse in his body, his emotion, or his mind. He must never permit himself to develop attitudes that are incompatible with the integrity which nature has bestowed. The magnetic fields are absolutely honest. There is no possible way of making them dishonest. The only thing we can do with them is to destroy or limit the manifestation of their integrity. If we break the rule, we lose the benefit of that particular energy. When we lose that benefit, we then say that evil has come to us. But it is not an evil thing that has come to us. It is the failure.
Now, this is one point that I disagree with him. It isn't such thing as evil. We'll talk about it later.
Of a good thing to be developed and purified and intensified. The magnetic fields are also in a state of constant evolution. They're in evolution in the life of the person, because actually it is all a matter of gradually strengthening the perfection of an energy resource. Now, no one is going to perfect it in one life or 100 lives, maybe, but it's going to grow. And the more integrity grows, the more rapidly the individual becomes harmoniously adjusted to the principle of life to which he belongs. Something we might say as integrity is not a thing. It is an attitude. It is an approach to a thing. But this is not really true. Integrity is also a magnetic field. Everything is. Sorrow is a magnetic field. Also water is a magnetic field. Everything that has an existence has a magnetic field. And the whole of our atmosphere, the whole of the world in which we live, is one mass of magnetic interplays. The television is actually using magnetism. It is part of a world of electronics which we consider now to be simply a physical thing. But when we get all through with it, television transmission as a work achieved by energy. There is an energy field, and it is unfolding and developing in a larger energy field. The atmosphere through which these messages pass is itself a great field of light, and it is alive. Space is alive. Space is not merely some atoms alive in a vacuum. Space itself, as a substance and essence, is part of the great magnetism of the sun. The only way in which the individual can be really dominated by anything except himself is when he sells out his own energy and becomes negative to other things. He has to relinquish his own integrity before he can be damaged by outside forces. There isn't enough evil in all the world to destroy the integrity of one person. He must destroy it himself. Therefore, the damages are, in a sense, not only moral, but are absolutely just in their actual integrities. This is the way in which, apparently, as the Chinese noted, the universe creates the concept of right and wrong. This right and wrong is simply a matter of what builds up and what tears down the essential energies upon which life depends. So we have this problem in every field of life. We have it in the narcotics problem. We have it in a large part of commercialism. We have it wherever there is an attitude of putting profit and advance over integrity. Wherever the individual makes this compromise, he immediately becomes a part of this particular problem. Therefore, again, everything becomes a matter of keeping the energy fields clean. And the only way they can be kept clean is by using them properly. For it is said definitely that many may fall upon the right hand and many upon the left hand, but the just person shall not be moved. Everything is energy. So we go back to the individual now, and we find him standing in the midst of his own magnetic field, with his structure protected by the constant radiating force of outflowing energy that vitalizes everything from the center outward and nourishes the solar system, which is the human body, from the level of the sun, as in astronomy. The ancient astrologers believed that these energy fields originated in man himself, and that the source of all the energy fields in the human body is the heart. That this is the thing from which all else radiates. Therefore, the most dangerous of all corruption is the abuse of love, abuse of friendship, abuse of integrities, abuse of fidelities, and abuse of those things of benevolence, mercy, and compassion, which are associated with the heart. As those energies remain firm, the heart radiating out to the circumference of the magnetic field of the body is completely protective. It will be practically impossible for anything to damage it in the area where it is functioning properly. There may be other functions which is not yet perfected, but if the individual is basically honorable, he will be able to perfect these without too much trouble. Actually, however, if these energies are wrong, if the individual begins to hate somebody, or an individual breaks a friendship from selfishness, for advantage or gain, for physical or economic gain, immediately this defense is down. The individual who cheats has lowered his defenses against being cheated in his own turn. If he does an evil, he opens the way for an evil to be done to him, because he has destroyed the magnetic defenses. So our whole morality is a matter of light energies. It is a matter of
So we're going to continue with another video And this video here is going to show you where he got his knowledge on that subject. Now, I agree with him about some of his theory and his knowledge. But the main thing I want to show you now is where he got, you see the Egyptian, the black. Now, this is the same guy, Manly P. Hall, introducing you to the magnetic field and where it came from.
The beginning of the study of magnetism can be traced back to Egypt. Also, we find the Greeks.
He said it could be traced back to Egypt, the beginning of it. So, if it could be traced back to Egypt, what continent is Egypt on? Now, is it in Africa? Or is it in the Middle East, what they call the Middle East? And who invented those words, Middle East and Africa? But for now, let's just go with Egypt is in Africa. Now, you got black men talking about the Anunnaki and, you know, built the pyramids and so forth. But this one sister who wrote a book back in 1927. In this book right here, the wonderful the wonderful Ethiopians of the ancient Kushite Empire. And you can see the pyramids. You can see they black. She wrote this book in 1927. Her name is Drusilla Dungy Houston. Now, Master Farad, Allah and the person of Master Farad Muhammad, was here. He got here in the States in 1910. But he didn't come to Detroit. He knocked around in and out of the country, up and down the United States for 20 years before he came to the Detroit area. We came to Detroit in 1930 on the 4th of July. The 4th of July is coming up. A couple of more days. Now, he never mentioned the fact, Manly P. Hall, about the dominant gene and the recessive gene. When you talk about, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad called it the brown germ, the black germ, and the brown germ. That was in the black man. He never did talk about that. When you talk about magnetism, you got to talk about the dominant gene, the black gene, and the brown gene. You got to talk about it. And you got to talk about Yakub, or Jacob. In the Bible, he called Jacob. Yakub is his black name. I could say African name, or I could say his Arabic name. But Arabic is we could say, if you want to use it's a so-called African language. I'd rather say Asiatic language, but it would only confuse you at this point. But it's one of the black man's languages. Now that language was here before English. You see what I'm saying? That language was here before English. And it's what they wrote the Bible out of. Aramaic, Hebrew. Aramaic is the same, is similar to Arabic. Aramaic is ancient Egyptian, or ancient Kemet. Kemet is the word that we use. You know, the ones that know. Some of y'all don't know about Kemet, but Kemet is where you get the word chemistry, which means black. You know. Now Manly P. Hall, he's probably a Mason. You know, a Mason, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, is a Muslim son. He got to study before we let him come among us, before we trade with him. I don't want to get too deep into that because I want to stay on the science of Allah, and getting back to Yakub at the age of 6, studying the magnet. And he knew at that young age, because see, they were way wiser than we are now, because we was brought up, we lost our wisdom when they made us slaves. You know, first they made us prisoners of war, they kidnapped us, and then made us slaves. But it's not the regular kind of slave, you know, where you're a debt slave, you work your debt off and all like that. Because they kept their names and language, but we couldn't keep our language and keep our names and our culture and keep the knowledge of God. We couldn't keep that. They made sure that they separated us from they separated our ancestors from the elders, so the elders couldn't pass down the wisdom. So Allah had to come in the person of Master Farah Muhammad to give us our ancient wisdom. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was chosen to be the first to unlock the wisdom from the scrolls. They don't want to give him credit for it, though, because they don't want you to know this. But it's coming out now. When they made YouTube, they didn't think about using those algorithms. They didn't think about that wisdom was gonna come on YouTube. So they campaigning against the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, trying to discredit him, trying to drag him through the mud, trying to say that he killed Malcolm, trying to say, but Malcolm lost his integrity. You see? Because he let jealousy or his pride interfere with his progress towards Allah. He didn't have that faith or that belief. So you got to believe before you know. You got to believe. You got to have faith before you know. And if you have faith, it'll drive you to know. That word know in science mean the same thing. It's also equal to the word God, because when you know what God means, it means the possessor of power and force. That's what we're talking about now. This magnetic field, and man and mankind possesses, God and the devil possesses, but it's in degrees. They possess power and force, but it's in degrees. The original Asiatic black man possesses more power and force than mankind, which means kind of a man. God possessed more power and force than the devil. So it's only God and the devil. Ain't no in-betweens. There's only good and evil. Ain't no in-betweens. And we in the battle war of Armageddon right now. So when I showed y'all this book, when I showed y'all the headline about the Federal Reserve, and I'm telling you about the black germ and the brown germ, well, this country was invaded by the Federal Reserve. They use that word federal to make you think that it's part of the federal government. It is part of the federal government, but not legally. They took over. The Federal Reserve took over the government. It's a foreign entity because the owners of the Federal Reserve are foreigners. But they control Biden, they control Trump, they control Europe, parts of Africa. They're trying to control the whole planet. And we're talking about the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the J.P. Morgans. They invented Israel. Now, you living in a crib, minding your own business, doing your own thing. This is just an example of what's going on over in Palestine and Gaza and everywhere, where Israel is attacking. You know, the Jews didn't have, the so-called Jews, the white man, he gonna say he's Semitic. Ain't nowhere in the world it tell you in the Bible that Semitic. You know, read it all day long. And he gonna say he's Semitic and that land was promised to him. But when you read Malachi, when you go in the Bible, when you read Malachi, towards the last chapter, I think 5 or the verse 5 is say, I will send you Elijah. Allah was chastising the Jews, Israel. You know, he was chastising them. He said, you know, y'all ain't gonna do right. And he said, before that great and dreadful day, which we in now, I will send you Elijah. And so Elijah would turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the children, the hearts of the children to the father. And that means that we're going back in antiquity to find out who we really are, who our father is. Our father is Allah. And we was captured by the devils, which means grafted people. Now, when you grafted, you're losing qualities that the original possesses. You're losing it. So now there are some Caucasians that could hold on. You know, you got some Masons. Where they messing up at is they can't tell you who you really are. White Masons. The Black Masons, they don't know no better because they raised by the White Masons. Black Masons don't know that by nature they Muslim. When you break down that word, Muslim means those that do the will of the Most High, do the will of Allah. You know, you could look that up in the dictionary and tell you that. So they don't know it, and most of us don't know it. So Allah came, you know, to Detroit in 1930 and raised up the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to give this kind of science. You know, he gave us this kind of science back in the 1930s. And they had to disrupt it. Now they got some brothers that play off the, you know, they playbook is to play off the basics of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, but then they're gonna twist it. You got to be careful to see that they're gonna tell you the truth up, you know, half truths, and then they're gonna throw you off. And you gotta be sharp to catch it. And Allah's politics is this: he's a dictator. Either you do what I say, or you get the hell away. I'm not gonna twist your arm, you know. You want to be a dope fiend? You want to be a whoremonger? You want to be a warmonger? Whatever your thing is, you know, keep on doing it. Like Stevie Wonder was running in one of his tunes. You know, keep on doing what you do, man. And I'm gonna give you enough rope to hang yourself. Man, y'all, you know, gonna vote, fighting each other. What you look like coming off the plantation and choosing your slave master to rule you all over again? What kind of dummy are you? You ain't gotta vote. Matter of fact, you shouldn't even have to pay taxes. They didn't pay you for 400 years, man. 400 or 500 years, man. They ain't gave you. You built the country up. Let them have it, man. You know, let them kill themselves. But you say, well, I built it up. It blown, man. This country was built off of evil intentions. You know, you don't want no parts of that. You see, that's why you in the day of Armageddon. That's why you in the day, doomsday, in doomsday. Allah told you in the book that he gonna send plagues on you. You know, they coming in all types of forms. They're not just coming in warm form. Like fentanyl, that's a plague. Crack was a plague. You see, because you lost your integrity. You see what I'm saying? You gonna vote for Obama, and in the Bible tell you man shouldn't lay with another man, woman shouldn't lay with a woman. It's an abomination, and you should be killed. And he gonna make it legal for a man to marry a man and a woman to marry a woman. Then you call Clinton. Before that, you call Clinton in the White House with Convincey, whatever her name is, Kowinski, and got caught giving head, nope, I shouldn't say that word, making oral sex to Clinton, and y'all forgave him. You know, y'all wanted him to be our leader because he could play the saxophone like a black man. That's all he had to do was go over to Africa, beat on some drums, play the saxophone like a black man, and y'all say he was the first black president. That tell you how childish y'all think. You know, now you know who you are, and you know all y'all watching and listening. If the shoe fit, wear it. But you know, if you ain't like that, you ain't like that. You know, unless you know that shoe fit. Don't get mad. You know, at me. Get glad that you know, you can correct yourself. You still got time to correct yourself, because when Master Farad came over here, he forgave us. He said, you know, y'all wasn't, the devil brought y'all up under him. It's not your fault. So I'm going to give you the knowledge of self. Now you got so much time to learn the knowledge of yourself, but in the meantime, you got to pass, man. And according to your attitude about it, a lot of y'all know, you know, but y'all don't want it. Y'all know what I'm saying is right, but you don't want it. So all kind of plagues coming on you. The thug bug, you know, and right now, people are getting heat stroke, heat sick, you know, that heat taking you out. They had about four earthquakes in California. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, when you see those, start seeing earthquakes all over the place, you better run for cover, because the United States is scheduled to be took out first. But Allah is giving you enough time to recover. I mean, to straighten yourself out. Now, people say Jesus, they say Jesus forgave the adulterous woman. Y'all know that Bible story. Some of y'all do, some of y'all don't. But anyway, Jesus and some of the people of the town, they was sitting around, I don't know what they was talking about, but they brought an adulterous woman. They caught this woman having an affair with somebody against her husband's will, and they was gonna stone her. So anyway, Jesus told him, say, he who without sin throw the first stone. Then he told the woman, go and don't sin no more. He gave her a pass, but he told her don't sin no more. That's very important. Now, we don't know if she sinned, stopped, went and took it for granted that he saved her from getting her face bashed in with a brick, or did she send some more, or, don't say nothing. Evidently, it don't point her out as keep on sinning. But that's just like Master Farad coming, telling you who you are, and don't sin no more. But evidently, just because you're a FOI and an MGT, don't mean nothing. Just because you got a holy name, don't mean nothing. Because look at all the people that got holy names, and all the women got the MGT white dress, and the brothers got the FOI bow tie, and they keep sinning, keep going against the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, Farrakhan, when he gave the Million Man March, he called it the Day of Atonement. Allah already, when he was here in the person of Master Farad Muhammad back in 1930s and the 30s, he forgave us for our sins. So he didn't have to go through that Day of Atonement. Only thing, and he didn't atone. So, and then Wharf Dean, he had a tragic ending, and his brother still following after that. So the Nation of Islam is broke up into sects, just like the Shiite and the Sunni. So you don't need to go back over that anymore. You can set up your own government right now where you at. You say, how can we do that? Look, I'm gonna give you a scenario. I started off talking about you living in your house. You living in a house, managing your own business. And next thing you know, somebody moves next door in the vacant house next door. Now they want your house. So now you are peaceful. They used to have a law saying don't disturb the peace. Don't disturb the peace. So you living in your house and somebody wants your house on that block. So they start terrorizing your house, terrorizing you, intimidating you, trying to get you up out of there. Now, if you bow down to them, that means that you really don't believe that you're right, that you're really not following Allah. So that's what they do in the cities, in the ghetto. They intimidate you by if you don't pay your property taxes, you got to get up out of there. If you're renting and you don't pay your rent, you got to get up out of there. So they send a disease out. Tell you don't go to work. Don't go to the don't go to your job so you can pay your rent. You get behind in the rent. They run some lies up on you. But you get behind in the rent, you got to get up out of there. That's gentrification. They got all kind of ways they do gentrification. Now how you gonna fight this? Well, what you do is you form block clubs, have a citizens safe neighborhood committee. Now Mayor Young did this. He had a city hall in every neighborhood. He had it so you could get money from the government. They call them grants. And people were rebuilding their house, building up the block. But by the people being deaf, dumb, and blind, they lost all of these kind of benefits, or they lost all of this. See, grants, a block grant, is what they had before. They used to give to the white people because it was in the law that they had to keep your community upgraded. You know, everything had to be upgraded. So they rather give. You could go up in Lansing and apply. You didn't have to have no block club. You could go up in Lansing and say, you know, I need some paint. My house, can't afford it. And they'll give you some money to buy you, you know, to buy some paint with, or whatever you need to fix your crib up with. Well, when Mayor Young became mayor, he used that law, and he said if you make a block club, you could fix up the whole hood. You could fix your whole hood up, your whole community up. The streets, you could repair the streets. Weatherization, you could make sure that your house is got weatherized, and you could have this and that and the other. And he was giving out food. This wasn't welfare. Now this is what Mayor Young was giving out. He was giving out boxes of food if you come to apply to these neighborhood city halls. You know, you could get weatherization, food, everything. And when you have a block club, you could repair, what needs to be repaired in your street lights, whatever, Mayor Young had the neighborhood watch. And he had guys riding around in patrol cars. He had the Eyes and Ears program where any city maintenance or whatever, they were like patrol cars. They could, if they see any wrongdoings, they report it. He also changed Halloween into Angels Night. And because he used to cuss out the white news, they got ashamed. Black people got us. When you couldn't start talking about the white man, our women don't want you talking about that white man. Like when Biden was at that church and they wasn't accepting Biden too good at this black church. And this one black woman got up and said, "You a good man. You a good man." You know, they love the white man too much. Because your brothers ain't standing up and being men. That movie, what's the name of that movie with Jamie Foxx? Django Unchained. And he went and got his woman from the plantation, destroyed the plantation. You know, people didn't like that movie. That movie, man, you should love that movie. Because they know they can't, they know that they didn't have it in them. The brothers ain't got it in them to destroy the plantation. Well, that's cool. But you ain't got to live on the plantation. You build up your own block. You occupy that. You know, if the majority of your neighborhood is black and you occupy it, can't nobody get you out of there. You know, they can't uproot you out of there. Can't nobody own land, air, and water. You can't own it. Especially if you're the creator of it. If the black man is the creator and maker of the planet Earth, you can't own that. You can't, they can't, the white man can't own that. It's yours. You were here thousands and thousands of years before the white man came about. So you have a citizen safe neighborhood committee. You check on, make sure the water is being clean. You got clean drinking water. You know, and you had this citizen safe neighborhood committee in every region or every zone, zip code, and you have a leader to represent your block or your community, and y'all challenge the common council. The common council got to challenge the mayor. You know, if they don't vote for them. Get rid of them. And if they keep sending your tax dollars to fight wars, and you keep paying them, that means you aiding and abetting murder. Stop paying taxes. The black men shouldn't pay no taxes, no way. They don't want to give you reparations. Stop paying taxes. Why should you pay taxes and they give it away? And your neighborhood ain't being, and they sending in migrants to your neighborhood, and you keep on paying taxes. And what kind of fool are you? You know. Now you got black farmers. They don't build no supermarkets in your neighborhood. You know. The Arabs do though. The Arabs come in there, do that. So the neighborhood safe neighborhood committee, make sure you got, if you have to go and talk to the black farmers yourself, you know, and somebody else to build supermarkets for the black man. And your food, you got a food desert. You know, y'all get together. Y'all can meet up on the, YouTube. Look what Trump did when he gave meetings on the YouTube. There'd be thousands and thousands of people making arrangements on YouTube. You could broadcast it. The Citizens Committee, Safe Committee meets up with the Common Council on television. It don't have to be on YouTube. It could just be on television. Have a special channel for that. And you give your demands, and if they don't follow your demands, walk off the job. Stop playing. When you've seen Spook Who Sat by the Door, the CIA agent said that Chicago shut down because the bus drivers walked off the job. So you can't be scared nowadays. It's a whole lot. If you unify, they do it at the plants all the time. When they in negotiations, when Chrysler or Stellantis is in negotiation with the corporation, they walk off the job if they don't get what they want. Well, you can shut down the whole country. And then if Chicago having problems with the migrants, New York is having problems with the migrants, Texas is having problems with the migrants, how come they don't join together and shut down the whole operation? In Detroit, we used to shut down supermarkets. The Panthers, we used to shut down dope houses by simply blocking the entry, And, in Detroit, we got black police that was down with the cause, And they was on our side. So they don't do that now because the leaders get fat. But we don't need leaders now. You be your own leader. Just unite and put what you want down on the program. Just like they did the Constitution. Now they didn't follow the Constitution because their nature, the white man's nature, he can't help but breaking the law. But we have more integrity and more righteousness than that. But we just afraid that the white man some kind of way gonna punish us. And we don't realize that we the father and mother of civilization. That's why Master Farad came to tell you who you was. Now you think he was trying to get rid of you by telling you that, or trying to make you strong? So I'm gonna tell you that the Federal Reserve run the country, run the presidents. And the ones who own the Federal Reserve are private entities. And they call the shots. They control all the money. They make all the science to make you sick. They done took away your integrity. Now we're going to continue this in this Doomsday Chronicle. Okay? So we out of here. I got to plug up, my battery going low. And until I come back on, stay tuned. You know, make sure you copy these videos so you can study them. And you got to research. You should have a research team in every hood. You got to start working together if you want to survive this. And it don't take a whole lot. Just like 007. The United States done got so they don't send a whole lot of troops in to take down nobody. It might just be one guy, like 007, James Bond. He could go in, upset a whole operation. They just have a few soldiers, special elite soldiers, that could go in and knock off who they want to now. But we don't have murder on the mind. You know, we not like them. Only thing we want to do is be independent, and our self-defense is righteous unity, to get back our integrity, to get back righteousness, and all those that are righteous, you know, unify. And it's things you can do in your block. If they don't want to tear down them vacant homes, you know, you can do it. You don't need no permit to do that. All you need is somebody to know how to do that. Hire a company to do it and to haul it away. You know, you don't need nobody's permission to beautify your block, to beautify your house. You know, they're not doing it. It's a safety hazard already. You got, you know, when I get this, I need a special chip or something on my tablet, so I could go out in the hood. I want to go out in the hood and show you here where they got whole blocks of raggedy houses that need to be torn down. You know, so when I get this chip, you know, we're gonna go out in the hood and we're gonna show you, you know, how it's been like this for years, man. They don't want to, what they doing with the money. But what they doing in Detroit is, all the people that used to be out in California and Florida that can't live out there no more, they coming up here around the Great Lakes, you know, and they taking over downtown. So they building buildings down there, but they leaving the neighborhood still jacked up. So since they want to play like that, do it yourself. And then once you start doing it yourself, you build gated communities like they used to do. And so they can't come into your community because you got guards up front. Hire you your own soldiers. They can't come in, you know. The government is washed up. There's no more constitution. There's no more law. They tell you it is, but there's no more law. And you see that there's no more law. The only law you need anyway is follow the laws of Allah. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum.